Eyes down, you focus on the chipped, bloody floor as you wait for your first taste of prisoner chow. Scenes from every prison movie flash in your head. Sit by the wrong guy, and lunch might be served with a side of shattered teeth. You throw a friendly, let's be real, borderline creepy smile at the server, the portion god himself. Today's menu? Slow braised short rib, Parmesan mashed potatoes, truffle mac and cheese. Don't believe us? Keep watching. This is the Infographic Show. What prison food is really like. Alright, we lied to you. Prison food is more like tubes of mystery meat on a bed of radioactive mashed potato, accompanied by a dollop of super adhesive mac and cheese. The veg, a handful of traumatized green beans that look like they've been to war. 800 years from now, archaeologists will study it and wonder if this was our version of cruel and unusual punishment. There is a good reason why 90% of prisoners try to avoid prison food. It sucks with a capital S. And you'll soon find out why. Just one look at an average meal in an American prison is enough to make you pledge allegiance to Nancy Reagan's ghost, vowing to never jaywalk again. It's a symphony of bland beige that resembles dog puke, a sad plate of nope. As any dietitian will tell you, this isn't usually a good sign. Colors matter. The food, can we call it that, is supposed to follow what the Department of Corrections calls Dietary Guidelines for Americans. It's also supposed to embrace nutrient diversity, although supposed to and does are very different things. If color is anything to go by, it's about as diverse as an amoeba. Not long ago, Dakota County Jail served bologna, bread, and water every night, 365 days a year. This was served up 14 hours after the only other meal, breakfast. Prisoners still got 2,700 calories a day in the form of a never-ending bologna nightmare. U.S. prisoners are mentally scarred by it. Grown men weep at the sight of processed slices of meat. But what does the Bureau of Prisons mean by dietary guidelines for Americans? As all of our viewers know, the U.S. is a bastion of nutritious cuisine, celebrated worldwide for its culinary health excellence. At an average of 3,600 calories a day, Americans consume well over their required daily intake, much of it made up of future leg-amputating added sugars. But prison inmates are not so lucky. The DOC claims to provide its male prisoners with 2,600 to 2,800 calories daily, while women should be getting around 2,000 calories a day. But as any prisoner will tell you, it's more than likely you'll spend most of your prison days feeling hungry. The truth is, in a lot of U.S. prisons, you might only get 1,800 calories a day. And that's not so much when you spend most of your day trying to stay in shape to fend off the next guy ready to stab you over a missing crayon. We looked at a typical breakfast in an Oklahoma prison, which was so lacking in color that it almost had stealth capabilities. It featured a slice of white bread, 2 boiled eggs, some powdered scrambled eggs, and the worst part, a mound of congealed cereal that looks suspiciously like the contents of a formula-fed baby diaper. Still, in U.S. prisons, you're supposed to get 6 servings of fruits and veggies per day, whole grains twice a day, and 28 grams of protein at a minimum. There will be regular servings of milk and sweetened juice. The problem is it's also so incredibly bland and practically inedible. In New York State, almost 92% of prisoners in a survey said the food was tasteless. Nearly 96% said that they preferred to make their own meals with food from the commissary. But that causes its own problems. The healthy stuff in the commissary costs more than the unhealthy stuff. So unless you have a hustle running spice, the non-food version, you might struggle to get the nutrients you need. Now, some of you might be thinking, do the crime, do the time. No one ever said prison was gonna be easy. Okay, but is it fair to serve prisoners something only marginally better than the food you'd serve your pet Cocker Spaniel? Let us know in the comments. The sheer lack and vile quality of U.S. prison food has sparked riots and made prison guards enemy number 1. In a human rights-based study, good food was said to improve not just prisoner health, but also cut back on the levels of violence and recidivism. The U.S. has some of the highest reoffending rates in the world. Almost 70% of prisoners are arrested again within 3 years of release. Okay, we can't just blame the food, but it probably doesn't help. 9 out of 10 prisoners in the U.S.'s 1.5 million prison population said that they didn't get enough food. A disturbing 3 out of 4 said they'd been served spoiled or rotten food. So they either don't get enough or they can't eat it because it smells like decomposing hamburger meat scraped from corpse teeth. Prisoners often report losing weight fast. An investigation at the Montgomery County Jail in New York said that one male prisoner lost 90 pounds in less than 6 months while existing on the standard prison diet. Another prisoner in a different prison said he ate everything he was served each day and lost 25 pounds in 4 months. He explained, "I couldn't wait to go home, restart my life, and eat a diet that didn't kill me." At Georgia's Gordon County Jail, investigations showed prisoners were getting over 2,800 calories a day. Even so, they got breakfast and dinner but no lunch. The wait was so long that some of the inmates said they started licking syrup packets. As for the biscuit and gravy for breakfast, we would not be exaggerating if we said we could put that gravy in a video about the world's worst tortures. The cup of creamed wheat at the Bow County Jail in Montana was another dish that aesthetically falls within the descriptive parameters of hot vomit. The average American spends around $8 a day on food, but if you land in prison in Florida, your daily allowance will be about $2.32. In California, it's $2.45 a day. These are two of the most packed prison states in the country, with 199,000 and 157,000. Only Texas has more, with 219,000 inmates, and there the daily food budget is even lower, at $2.22. To put that into perspective, that is less than half the cost of a box of fresh-cut watermelon at Target. And in prison, they're making 3 meals out of it. One of our writers at the infographic show once spent a summer working at a massive plant that produced prison food. Let's just say this food wasn't exactly made with love and care. According to him, the workers at the plant had about as much experience making food as they did designing spaceships. These plants buy in bulk, going for the cheapest foodstuffs they can find. Our staff member described how ingredients were piled onto conveyor belts from giant plastic tubs, handled by workers who were often untrained and poorly paid. His job was to monitor food temperatures at each stage, trying to prevent bacterial spread, a tough task given the scale of operations. In a 2017 study, it was found that there were 200 foodborne disease outbreaks in American prisons, resulting in over 20,600 illnesses, 204 hospitalizations, and 5 people dying. As any inmate who worked in the kitchen will tell you, food arrives in prison in huge bags and containers. When it's Taco Tuesday, the ready-made sauce is poured into large vats. From start to finish, it's an industrial process. It's almost impossible to make this much food taste good. It is basically slop, more suitable to pigs than humans. Back in the 2000s, under the infamous human rights-breaching Sheriff Joe Arpaio, in Arizona's Maricopa County, meal costs dropped to as low as 15 to 40 cents each. Any cheaper and it would disappear. One former prison resident, the British ecstasy kingpin turned YouTuber Sean Atwood, said one of the meals was nicknamed Red Death. It was a slop made with mystery ingredients, including the occasional extra protein from a dead rat. He actually said that. Now let's look at what's on offer in the prison commissary. Here, prisoners might get a maximum spending budget of $350 a month, although in some prisons it might be as little as $35 a week. In line with the USA's famed diagonal-shaped rates of diabetes, a lot of products in the commissary are the ultra-processed kind. A 2024 study said the prevalence of diabetes among non-incarcerated individuals is high, but the prevalence is considerably worse in our prisons and jails. It's not just diabetes. According to the Department of Justice, 44% of people serving time in state or federal prisons report ever having a chronic illness. That's compared to 31% of the general population. In short, prison food makes you sick. For $3.50 at the commissary, you can treat yourself to a tube of jalapeno squeeze cheese, packed with nutritional goodies like sorbic acid and xanthan gum. If you're feeling fancy, Nutella hazelnut spread is available for $4.90. On the healthier side, there is stuffed chicken with rice for $5.75. Prisoners say they long for the days when food looked like food. Anything served on the bone is highly prized. It is one of the rare times inmates will set aside their commissary snacks. Still, mystery meat reigns as the prison staple. When food glows, you know there's an issue. One prisoner described a meat dish he used to get that was gray in color with a slightly iridescent sheen to it. In Michigan, another prisoner described the meatballs as fluorescent. At least they helped brighten up the cell, we suppose. The question on every prisoner's mind is, what is this stuff? Chicken? Pork? Beef? It all tastes similar and usually looks the same. A former prisoner who worked in the kitchen explained, there was this box of meat that said turkey parts on it. The shape of the meat is not like any part of turkey I've ever seen. Another former prisoner said, imagine eating bologna that smells like fish for 18 years. This is the cheapest mystery meat America has to offer. Think offal, bits of organs, or whatever can be scraped off a carcass via mechanical separation. Sure, gas station hot dogs might come close, but let's not forget prison meat is part of a daily meal plan costing less than $3. There's also the bonus of the food making you sick. You not only get the cheapest cuts in prison, but you also usually get the most lax health and safety standards. In 2014, 30 prisoners in Michigan came down with food poisoning when it was discovered maggots and fly larvae were crawling around next to the food trays. It's just as bad for the women as it is for the men in prison in terms of food. A female kitchen worker at an unnamed prison recently shared a very short story in the horror genre of nonfiction. The hot dog was very dark and the beans had what appeared to be bugs on it. Closer inspection revealed a ton of unhatched maggots. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported that U.S. prison inmates are 6.4 times more likely to suffer from a food-related illness than Americans on the outside. Outbreaks are common. Recently, Mississippi prisons dropped a food provider after serving meals described as spoiled, rotten, moldy, or uncooked. Photos of the meals looked like a dog on death's door vomit, from bright yellow slop to a sauce that might be named essence of diarrhea. Unsurprisingly, kitchen staff also spotted food marked not for human consumption. It's the reason why some prisoners pretend they're Jewish or Muslim when they've never been within 100 feet of a synagogue or a mosque. By faking it, they might get kosher or halal food. As for vegetarians and vegans, that doesn't fall under religion, so you won't be getting special treatment. You'll just have to trade food items with other prisoners or hope you have enough cash to live on commissary goods. Even then, your choices are severely limited. Still, if you're lucky enough to be dying or are very sick, a prison physician might put you on a special meal plan. There's no guarantee this will be safe from maggots or rat poop, but the food might be low in sugars and fats. One inmate said at his prison one of the most popular commissary foods was noodles. Cheese curls, chips, and Jolly Ranchers came next. Number one by far, he said, were Little Debbie cakes. To put it another way, if you plan to live on commissary food for years on end, there's a good chance you'll be rolling out of prison in a wheelchair. A recent investigation revealed that commissary food might be 5 times more expensive than the same goods on the outside. The study said the prices reveal an exploitative, inconsistent system, which marks up goods as much as 600%. A 35-cent pack of ramen at Target becomes a 40-cent plus packet in prison. Noodles were 57 cents in Missouri prisons, and that same brand was $1.06 in Florida prisons. It all depends on which blood-sucking, price-gouging company is supplying the prison. Going to prison is like playing Indignity Dominoes. It's just one poop sandwich after another, sometimes literally if you count the rat feces. What do you think? Do prisoners deserve better chow, or is mystery meat and maggots enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now you need to watch what happens in the first 24 hours in prison, or have a look at Diddy's life inside New York City hellhole jail.